durables industry overview. India's consumer durables sector is undergoing a silent but significant transformation. Once dominated by fans, air coolers, and entry level refrigerators, this industry now spans energy efficient air conditioners, smart washing machines, and high definition televisions, with rising penetration even in Tier 3 towns. As income levels rise and consumption deepens beyond metros, the industry is becoming more formalized, competitive, and innovation driven. This section presents a structured overview of the current state, trends, and competitive landscape of the sector. Executive summary, broader industry snapshot. The Indian consumer durable sector witnessed robust growth in FY25, driven by strong seasonal demand, premiumization trends, and continued digital integration across channels. The expanded scope of this report spans room air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machines, kitchen appliances, fans, lighting, wires and cables, small appliances, and built in products. The analysis also includes insights on ODMs, MNCs, unlisted value segment players, and the evolving import export dynamics. Key performance highlights of FY25. Market size estimated to exceed Indian rupee 1.48 lakh crore across organized and unorganized segments. Product growth leaders, REC's 36% year over year growth, aided by heat waves and replacement cycles. Small appliances, 25% year over year growth, led by air fryers, mixer grinders. Refrigerators and washing machines, 18 to 20% growth with premium inverters and convertible models. Fans and lighting, high rural penetration, 12% growth with BLDC innovation. Macroeconomic linkages, improved rural incomes and lower inflation supported discretionary purchases. EMI and Buy Now Pay Later BNPL schemes contributed to financing led demand. PLI schemes catalyzed CapEx and domestic manufacturing investments. Competitive landscape, MNCs, LG, Samsung, Bosch, Daikin expanded domestic operations and introduced IoT enabled products. ODMs, Dixon Amber registered over 70% year over year growth in REC component production. Unlisted and value segment brands focused on affordability and tier 2 to 4 market penetration. Key strategic themes: theme, premiumization, description, rise of inverter, 5-star IoT enabled appliances across urban centers. Theme, digital integration, description, surge in D2C channels, WhatsApp commerce, and smart diagnostics. Theme, supply chain localization, description, import substitution via Dixon Amber PLI linked capacity expansion. Theme, ESG and sustainability, description, recycling programs, EPR mandates, green logistics. Theme, export push, description, growth in exports to Middle East, Africa, EU, Dixon's TV, RSC shipments. Scope of coverage. This report comprehensively covers listed companies, example Voltas, Blue Star, Havels, Dixon, TTK Prestige, MNCs and their Indian strategies, example LG, Samsung, Bosch. ODM ecosystem, example Amber, PG Electroplast, IFP. Value segment and regional players, example Usha, Attenberg, Agaro. Channel trends, pricing dynamics, policy and regulatory environment, ESG metrics, and FY26 outlook. This summary serves as a gateway to the full report, which delves into market structures, innovation, finance, ESG, global integration, and strategic recommendations for stakeholders. Number 1. Market size and product segmentation. The Indian consumer durable market, which includes white goods such as ACs, refrigerators, and washing machines, and brown goods, TVs, and small appliances, is estimated at approximately Rs 1.4 to Rs 1.5 lakh crore as of FY24. Category-wise breakdown. Room air conditioners, Rs 25,000 crore market, growing at 12 to 15% annually, growth driven by rising temperatures, increasing affordability, and widespread adoption of inverter technology. Refrigerators, Rs 24,000 crore, 8 to 10% growth, Tier 2 and 3 towns remain key demand centers. Washing machines, rupees 15,000 crore, 6 to 8% growth. Semi-automatic machines continue to command over 35% market share. Flat panel televisions, rupees 30,000 crore, 5 to 6% growth. High competition and commoditization keep price points under pressure. Small appliances, rupees 40,000 crore, 10 to 12% growth, includes products like mixer grinders, fans, irons, and microwave ovens. White goods form the backbone of the industry in terms of value, while small appliances provide scale and regional variety. Number two, organized versus unorganized market. The industry is increasingly formalizing, with the organized sector accounting for an estimated 70 to 72% of total market value. Key drivers of this shift include GST and regulatory pressure on informal players, proliferation of national retail chains and branded showrooms, rising dominance of e commerce. However, the unorganized sector remains active in price sensitive categories and geographies. Fans, irons, coolers, mixer grinders, low cost washing machines, tier 3 and rural towns, institutional demand, example schools, hospitals, small hotels. Products from this segment often undercut branded prices by 15 to 30%, catering to volume driven demand. Number 3, value brands and regional players. A parallel ecosystem of value focused and regional brands continues to thrive in India's consumer durable sector. Legacy Indian brands, Onida, BPL, Intex, Mitashi, once household names, now focused on mid to low end segments. Retailer private labels, Amazon Basics, Flipkart Smart Buy, Reliance Reconnect, low price alternatives sold through own platforms. D2C price focused players, Chroma Tata, Vijay Sales private labels used omni channels and hybrid models. These players often rely on ODMs like Dixon, Amber, and PG Electroplast for manufacturing. Their primary advantage lies in quick market adaptation, aggressive pricing, and region specific targeting. Number 4, industry structure and competitive landscape. The Indian consumer durable space is characterized by a multi tiered structure of brands and manufacturers. Company type and ecosystem. Leading listed Indian companies Voltas, Blue Star, Havels, Bajaj Electricals, Crompton, Greaves, Whirlpool, Symphony focused on nationwide distribution, branding, and multi category expansion. Multinational corporations Samsung, LG, Panasonic, Hitachi, Haier, Daikin offer global technology, brand pull, and premium positioning. ODMs and contract manufacturers Dixon Technologies, Amber Enterprises, PG Electroplast, Alien Electronics supply to both MNCs and Indian private labels benefit from Make in India push. Value oriented and regional brands thrive in tier 2 3 cities and rural zones, excel in affordable offerings and local dealers networks. New age startups and D2C entrants Atomberg, Luminous, Boat, expanding beyond audio, target energy efficiency, modern design, and young consumers. This layered competitive structure drives both pricing pressure and innovation. Number 5, key industry shifts and strategic enablers. Several secular trends and policy moves are reshaping the future of this industry. Policy incentives, PLI schemes in AC components and LED lighting aim to build a strong domestic manufacturing base. Tariff changes and import restrictions are nudging players towards localization. Regulatory compliance, BEE star ratings, and EPR extended producer responsibility norms are pushing manufacturers to adopt energy efficient, recyclable product designs. Consumer finance penetration, availability of no cost EMIs, BNPL schemes, and financing options has enabled middle income consumers to opt for premium models. Omnichannel evolution, growth of online first brands, regional e retailers, and hybrid models that integrate physical experience with digital scale. Post COVID consumer experience, increased emphasis on hygiene appliances, example air purifiers, Smart home adoption driven by lifestyle shifts and connected appliance ecosystems. These trends are transitioning the industry from a penetration led phase to one of differentiation, value addition, and experience driven buying. Macroeconomic and policy backdrop for consumer durable sector. Number 1, income growth and demographic dividend. Rising middle class. India is home to over 350 million middle income households, expected to cross 500 million by 2030. This expanded base fuels first time purchases and upgrades. Urbanization and aspiration. With 40% of Indians projected to live in urban areas by 2030, demand is shifting towards branded, energy efficient, and technologically advanced appliances. Young demographic profile. Nearly 65% of the population is below the age of 35, driving preference for smart, connected, and lifestyle enhancement products. Number 2, inflation, interest rates, and disposable incomes. Retail inflation CPI, stable CPI in the range of 4.5% to 5.5% has preserved consumer sentiment. Volatility in food or energy prices, however, can constrain discretionary spending. Interest rate cycle. Consumer durable sales are interest sensitive. RBI's pause in rate hikes post 2023 and potential future cuts are favorable for financing led purchases. Disposable incomes, real income growth, especially among salaried and upper middle income segments, directly correlates with appliance replacement cycles. Number 3, credit availability and digital lending. NBFC and retail lending. Growth in retail lending, led by NBFCs and fintechs, has improved access to easy financing for appliances, particularly in Tier 2-3 cities. Digital BNPL, buy now, pay later. Widespread BNPL adoption on e commerce platforms has reduced friction for aspirational purchases. No cost EMI schemes. These schemes, offered by retailers and manufacturers, play a crucial role in promoting premium appliance sales. Number 4, government policy and infrastructure push. PLI and Make in India, the production linked incentive scheme for white goods, notably AC components, incentivizes backward integration and indigenous manufacturing. Energy efficiency and standards. Bureau of Energy Efficiency BEE norms drive innovation and consumer preference for 3-star and above rated appliances. Rural electrification and infra. Schemes like Saubhagya and Jal Jeevan Mission improve electricity and water access, key enablers for appliances like washing machines and refrigerators. Number 5, e-commerce and digital inclusion. Smartphone and internet penetration. Over 750 million smartphone users and growing internet penetration facilitate awareness, discovery, and access to appliances. Tier 2-3 online shoppers. The next wave of consumption growth is driven by digitally connected households in smaller towns. D2C channels. Emerging brands are leveraging digital first strategies to bypass traditional distribution and reduce go to market time. Number 6, global factors and supply chain trends. China plus one strategy, global manufacturers are increasingly diversifying production to India, aiding domestic capacity expansion. Import dependence, sourcing for compressors, PCBs, and motors still faces risk from currency fluctuations, import duties, and geopolitical disruptions. Commodities and input prices. Copper, aluminum, plastics, and logistics costs affect profitability. Companies hedge and diversify suppliers to mitigate risk. These macroeconomic factors act as both enablers and constraints. Companies that align with policy shifts, optimize sourcing, and leverage financing and digital infrastructure will emerge as long term winners in India's evolving consumer durables market. Regulatory landscape and sustainability imperatives. Energy efficiency and labeling. Overview of BEE star labeling and minimum energy performance standards. Increased enforcement and evolution of standards, example, SHEER for RECs, mandatory star ratings for fans since January 2023. Push for inverter based technologies and higher star rated products across categories, RECs, refrigerators, washing machines, fans. Extended Producer Responsibility EPR and Recycling. Details of EPR Rules 2023-24 applicable to WEEE, waste electrical and electronic equipment. Mandates for producers to collect and recycle a specific percentage of products. Impact on compliance costs for MNCs and unlisted players. Rise of eco-friendly packaging, recyclable plastics, and green refrigerants. Refrigerant tractions. Gradual phase out of HCFCs, example R22 under India's Montreal Protocol commitments, to be completed by 2030. Shift towards eco-friendly refrigerants like R32, R290, and R600A even in budget product lines. Timeline enforcement and product redesign challenges. Production linked incentive PLI scheme for white goods. Impact on domestic manufacturing of key AC components, compressors, PCBs, copper tubes. Incentives for LED lighting manufacturing and backward integration. Boosts to export potential and import substitution. Other sustainability initiatives. Growth of green logistics and solar powered appliances. Innovations in water saving technologies, example efficient washing machine drums. Circular economy practices, reverse logistics, component level recycling, and green certifications. These regulatory and sustainability mandates are transforming India's consumer durable landscape. Future-ready companies are those aligning their R&D, compliance, and product design strategies with these evolving standards. Company landscape and performance overview. Company landscape segment-wise classification. REC and white goods. Indian majors, Voltas, Blue Star, Havels, Godrej Appliances. MNCs, LG India, Samsung, Panasonic, Haier India, Whirlpool, and Daikin. Small and kitchen appliances, TTK Prestige, Bajaj Electricals, Butterfly Gandhi Mati, Wonder Chef, Agaro, Philips India. Fans, lighting, and electricals, Crompton Greaves, Orient Electric, V-Guard, Syska, Polycab, and Finolex. OEMs/ODMs and component suppliers. Amber Enterprises, Dixon Technologies, PG Electroplast, and IFB Industries. Retail and distribution channels, Reliance Digital, Chroma, Vijay Sales, Amazon, Flipkart, and regional retail networks. Emerging players and value segment, Atomberg, Superfan, regional kitchen appliance makers, unlisted brands like Stovecraft, Kentaro. MNC export hubs in India, Samsung, Noida plant for refrigerators, Bosch Siemens dishwashers, and Daikin ACs for SAARC region. Competitive differentiators and strategic positioning. Financial performance snapshot. Strategic trends and initiatives. Premiumization, rising share of inverter ACs, IoT enabled appliances, air fryers. Localization, MNCs scaling up local R&D and manufacturing, example LG's aircon components, Daikin's India-specific models. Exports, OEMs like Dixon and Amber increasingly supplying US and EU brands. After sales networks, Blue Star leads with 2,100 plus touch points. LG and Samsung emphasize app based ticketing. Brand investments, high ad spend during IPL by Samsung Havels, regional targeting by Atomberg Usha. Distribution, supply chain, capex, and value chain trends. Distribution and retail dynamics. Channel shift analysis. Traditional retail still contributes over 40 to 50% in small appliances but is shrinking in RACs. Modern retail and large format electronics chains like Reliance Digital and Chroma accounts for 40% of RAC sales. E-commerce, Amazon, Flipkart has grown 25 to 40% year over year across categories. Direct-to-consumer D2C models gaining traction, example LG, Samsung websites. Quick commerce, example Blinkit, emerging for kitchen gadgets, fans, and small electronics. Regional penetration and brand strategy. Tier 2-3 expansion through multi-brand outlets and franchise models. MNCs, Samsung, LG, using brand stores and D2C portals. Regional players like Usha, Stovecraft rely heavily on general trade and regional distributors. Role of financing and digital integration. EMI partnerships via Bajaj Finserv, HDB Financial, Pine Labs boost affordability. UPI based payments and WhatsApp catalogs increasingly used in last mile sales. Input costs, capex, and supply chain trends. Commodity prices. Volatility in copper, aluminum, plastic resin prices directly impacts margins. FY23, FY24 saw inflationary spikes, partial pass through to consumers. China dependency and diversification. 60 to 70% of compressors, motors, electronic PCBs still imported from China. China plus one strategy, pushing ODMs and MNCs to localize, example Dixon's PCB line, Amber's compressors. CapEx and PLI led expansion. PLI schemes catalyzing investment, LG, Dixon expanding capacities. Samsung Smart Appliance Hub in Noida. WeGuard added 4 plants in 2023-24. Working capital and inventory trends. Tier 3 focused players overstocked in FY24 due to poor summer season. MNCs and listed players used analytics to optimize inventory, reduce working capital cycle. Localization index and ESG. MNCs still import heavy compared to ODMs, Dixon and Amber. ESG standards pushing green sourcing, recyclable plastics, and low emission logistics. Value chain analysis, manufacturing, imports, and exports. Domestic manufacturing. REC, refrigerator assembly, now local in most brands. Component localization still low, except for fans and lighting. Imports, major imports, compressors, control boards, LEDs, motors. Top source countries, China, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia. Import tariffs 15 to 20% apply, incentivizing localization. Export opportunities, Voltas exports RACs to Middle East, Blue Star to Africa. Dixon and PG Electroplast exports TVs, washing machines to the US and EU. FTAs with UAE, Australia, opening up new markets. Innovation, affordability, and global integration. Consumer durable sector. Technology, innovation, and smart appliances. The Indian consumer durables industry is undergoing rapid technological transformation across categories, from RACs to fans and kitchen appliances. Driven by changing consumer expectations and competitive pressure, innovation has become a key lever for differentiation. Smart appliances and IoT integration. Appliances across RACs, refrigerators, washing machines, and lighting are increasingly adopting smart capabilities. IoT integration enables remote control, status monitoring, and energy optimization. Tier 1 urban markets show higher adoption due to smartphone penetration. MNCs such as LG, Samsung, and Bosch offer connected appliances with predictive maintenance alerts. Cybersecurity remains a concern for high end smart appliances. Voice assistants and AI features. Voice assistants like Google Assistant and Alexa are being embedded in RECs and TVs. AI is being used for load sensing, adaptive cooling, and automatic diagnostics in premium products. Inverter and energy efficient technology. Inverter technology adoption is rising in both premium and mid range segments, particularly in RACs and refrigerators. Even budget fans now incorporate BLDC motors to meet BEE star norms. ODM contributions to innovation. ODM players like Dixon and Amber are developing cost effective smart models and BLDC controllers for local and export markets. Their in house R&D has enabled brands to offer smart features at scale. Consumer finance and affordability. Affordability is a key enabler of demand across categories, especially in Tier 2 3 markets. Easy access to EMI, BNPL, and NBFC led financing has become central to product adoption. EMI driven demand and BNPL models. RECs and refrigerators in Tier 2 3 towns see 60 to 70% of purchases made through EMI. Small appliances priced under Rs 10,000 are increasingly driven by BNPL offerings. Brands bundle finance schemes into their promotional strategies. Fintech and NBFC partnerships. Major players have partnered with Bajaj Finserv, Tata Capital, HDFC Bank, and Pine Labs to offer instant credit and low interest EMIs at points of sale. Urban versus rural credit access. In urban areas, credit card EMIs dominate. In rural markets, NBFC led financing and micro lending drive affordability for fans and small appliances. Risks in value segments. High financing penetration among unlisted brands creates credit risk. Some face NPA issues due to aggressive sales tactics without proper underwriting. Imports, exports, and global integration. India is emerging as a global hub for appliances and components under the China Plus One strategy. Both exports and import dependency are significant levers for growth and vulnerability. Indian exports by category. RECs, Voltas, and Blue Star exporting to Middle East and Africa. TVs and washing machines. Dixon, PG Electroplast exporting to US and Europe. Small appliances, TTK Prestige, Usha exporting to SAARC nations. MNC and ODM global supply chains. Samsung and LG use India plants as export bases. Example, Noida for TVs. ODMs like Dixon are key partners in manufacturing for global brands. Value segment export potential. Limited exports from value segment players due to low scale and lack of certification. Some regional brands have niche exports to Africa and SAARC. FTA and trade barriers. Free trade agreements with UAE and Australia lower export duties. However, non-tariff barriers like EU energy labels and certifications limit wider penetration. Competitive benchmarking. Indian RACs are 10 to 15% cheaper than Chinese counterparts but lag in global brand pull. Indian brands focus on durability and service, whereas global brands emphasize energy saving and innovation. Role of ODMs/OEMs in industry structure. Amber Enterprises manufactures for Voltas, Hitachi, Daikin, 12 plus facilities in India. Dixon Technologies, ODM for Xiaomi, Panasonic, Philips, expanding exports. PG Electroplast, washing machines, air coolers for leading brands, scaling up design capabilities. These ODMs support both MNC and domestic brands in fast product rollouts, price efficiency, and capex light expansion. This expanded landscape underlines the dynamic interplay of legacy brands, MNCs, niche innovators, and ODM partners shaping the future of Indian consumer durables. ESG and circular economy trends. Environmental, social, and governance imperatives are increasingly shaping strategic decisions in the Indian consumer durable sector. From reserve logistics to green manufacturing, companies are aligning with sustainability goals across product categories. Green certifications and renewable integration. Several leading brands have adopted IGBC or LEED certifications for their factories, focusing on energy efficiency and solar integration. MNCs such as LG and Bosch have invested in solar powered assembly lines to reduce operational carbon footprints. Reverse logistics and EPR compliance. While MNCs, example Samsung, LG, have developed structured take back programs for electronics and appliances, Compliance among value segment players and unlisted firms remains slow. EPR norms are difficult to execute for regional brands lacking scale. Recyclability and circular economy metrics. Refrigerators and RECs face challenges in refrigerant recovery, while small appliances add to plastic waste due to low disassembly rates. Innovative ODMs like Dixon and Amber are introducing recyclable components and green logistics to address these gaps. Consumer sentiment and ESG disclosures. Survey indicate rising consumer interest in energy efficient, recyclable appliances, especially among urban premium buyers. ESG metrics are now being included in the annual disclosures of listed companies like Blue Star and Havels. Risks and challenges. Despite robust growth, the industry faces significant risks from demand volatility, import dependency, and regulatory tightening. Demand seasonality and margin pressure. A weak summer or delayed monsoon can severely affect REC and fan sales. Input cost inflation in copper, aluminium, or plastic components further squeezes margins, especially for value segment players. Currency, freight, and global disruptions. MNCs and OEMs remain vulnerable to global supply chain disruptions and container freight volatility. Currency depreciation also increases the input costs for imported components such as compressors and motors. Competition and regulatory risk. Chinese and Korean brands continue to dominate in cost sensitive segments. Meanwhile, BIS standards and EPR enforcement are expected to tighten, posing compliance costs for unlisted and regional firms. Workforce and after sales talent gaps. The availability of skilled technicians for manufacturing and after sales service remains a bottleneck for scaling in Tier 2-3 regions. FY26 outlook and strategic priorities. Category wise growth outlook. RACs expected to grow at 12 to 15% on continued urbanization and climate driven demand. Refrigerators 10 to 12% growth with premiumization and smart tech. Small appliances 20 to 25% growth driven by D2C, BNPL, and energy efficient designs. Emerging business models. Subscription models, example, rent to own smart appliances, smart homes as a service, and app based diagnostics are gaining traction among Gen Z and millennial users. CapEx, exports, and PLI led expansion. MNCs, Samsung, LG, and ODMs, Dixon, Amber, are expanding smart manufacturing hubs. Electronics exports are projected to cross USD 120 billion by FY26, boosted by free trade agreements with UAE, Australia, and others. Scenario outlook FY26. Optimistic, rural rebound plus strong summer plus stable input costs. Base case, moderate inflation, urban led growth, margin expansion. Pessimistic, global freight issues plus commodity spikes plus weak tier 3 demand. Recommendations and strategic priorities. MNCs, deepen localization of components, build resilient freight contracts. ODMs, scale design services, enter smart appliance segments. Value segment players, strengthen EPR compliance, upgrade after sales networks. Policymakers, expand PLI to fans and small appliances, subsidize ESG compliance for SMEs. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.